Okay, in this video, we're going to show how to adjust the electronic bias system in the OM Power 2008 Plus. But this applies to pretty much any amplifier with an electronic or auto bias system. So the goal of the system is to reduce heat. And essentially what it will do is when you key up, there's going to be two negative bias settings which will control the idling current of the vacuum tube. And so the idea is if you key up in sideband and you're not speaking, it will be pretty low. In this case, a factory setting is 20 milliamps. And the moment you start speaking and eclipse 0.1 watts or something, it will switch to the secondary negative bias setting, which in this case is 300 milliamps. So 300 milliamps at 3000 volts is a lot of heat. And so that's why they have this system, is to reduce heat and go and be easier on the vacuum tube. The drawbacks of that system is distortion. You probably have heard it on the air. Maybe you didn't know what you were listening to, but somebody kind of coming and going, their voice popping. The vacuum tube is not actually turned on in this particular case until about 80 or 100 milliamps. And that's true of most tetrodes that I've come in contact with. Now, if it's a larger tetrode, well, that's going to be a little bit different. But most ham radio tetrodes, 80 to 100 milliamps, the tube is conducting, and it's not going to be cut completely off. So how you would set this is you go into the service menu, and you're going to see EBS 1 Auto. This is the amp is going to automatically set this to the electronic bias voltage setting 1. Its goal here is going to be around 20 milliamps. This is the negative grid voltage now, the bias. It's negative 126 to keep this tube cut off. So we'll hit set. It ramped up minus 82 volts to get to 22 milliamps, and it saved it. Anytime you change the tap on the AC mains or you change the vacuum tube, you should come in here and run this. So it has EBS 2 auto. The goal here is 300 milliamps. So again, it's minus 126. It's cut off the vacuum tube. The more negative voltage that you have on the grid of a tetrode, it will cut the tube off, so it's not sitting here pulling current and making heat in the room. So we'll go ahead and hit set. 300, it nailed it. Minus 61 volts it took to do that. So it saved that in there. So now if you have EBS on, which is the default setting, if you key this up, it's going to go to 20 milliamps. If you start speaking, it'll go to 300. After extensive testing in a laboratory with this type of system on other amplifiers, I can assure you that that is causing distortion. It's degrading your signal, your clarity, and it's just way too low of an initial bias setting. So if you have one of these amplifiers or an alpha, or some of them are set actually manually, take the cover off the amplifier if it's a manual tune, but you can still set it. So I'm going to show you that. So in this amp, you can go up to EBS 1 manual, and you hit set, and then we can set this to wherever we want the initial idling current to be. So after testing these, 80 to 100 milliamps is really where you're going to want to be. So we hit set. It's not going to do anything until you hit one of the arrows, and then it's going to turn it on. So 29. We're going to go up here to 100. and then I'm going to save that. Okay, so now the electronic bias, number 1, is 100 milliamps. So if you key this amplifier up now and you don't talk, it's going to be 100 milliamps. Come down here to manual. This one we want to set to 300. Well, close enough, 299, right? Okay, so that's it. It's set. We can exit. I'll show you here. iPlate. I key it up. I gotta take it out of CW here. Key it up. Don't talk. There it is, 100 mils, 0.1. The moment you start talking and apply drive power to the amplifier, it's going to go to 300. So a lot of people go in and disable the system. And you could definitely do that. But just understand that if you disable it on an amp like this, you're going to have 900 watts of wasted heat. So I'm in a small back bedroom. I don't want 900 watts of heat blasting into the room. It's 115 degrees outside in Arizona right now. It's hard on the tube. It's a lot of heat in the room. It's unnecessary. Can the system cause problems, distortion, and splatter? Absolutely yes. If you raise up the number 1 setting to a point where that particular vacuum tube is not fully cut off, you get the cake and get to eat it as well. You're still going to save, I don't know, quick math in my head, something like 660 watts of heat between words, and if you're not talking. So it's kind of variable. Are you talking on the radio at the speed of which I'm talking with this many pauses? Are you running DX where there's no pauses? All of that plays a factor, but there is a huge amount of heat and wear and tear on the vacuum tube saved by using the system. Even if you had it at 150 for number 1 and 300 for the number 2 setting, it's still half current between words. So I found, again, about 80 to 100 for the low. Completely gets rid of all of the distortion, all of the chop. You won't lose the first syllable. There's going to be no rising and falling between words. It's just going to be clear, clean speech on the air, and you still save the heat.